Hello, everyone. I'm Mary from Mary Adler English, and we are here today with David from English for Life. Hello, David.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. So today we wanted to talk about healthy lifestyle. So, David, what is your attitude towards healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I mean, it's a really important question, I think. And I know that most people, if you start talking about healthy lifestyle, they kind of switch off a little bit, or a lot of people switch off. Oh, it means I've got to go for a 10K run every day. Um, my attitude is that a healthy lifestyle is not just confined to running or eating only green vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and supper. I can think of no better advice than I heard some time ago, which was, if you want to live a healthy physical lifestyle, eat less and move more.
That's a
Yeah.
very minimalistic approach.
Oh, absolutely. And I appreciate there's a lot more to it than that. But as a kind of basic thing, I think that contains a lot of wisdom. Aside from the physical side of a healthy lifestyle, there's obviously also the how can I put this, the psychological or the intellectual. So I think it's keeping the mind healthy as well. Maria, the old, is it Latin phrase, mens sana in corpore sano, healthy mind and a healthy body. I mean, it's very old, but I think it's very smart. So physical, psychological, intellectual. And then there's, I guess, what we could loosely call the spiritual. Um, that doesn't necessarily follow that one must have a faith in a deity, but I don't think spiritual is just confined to religious practice. But I think all three of those need to happen, and I think they need to be kept in balance. And that, to me, is what a healthy lifestyle is about.
What was your parents' attitude towards healthy lifestyle when you were growing up?
Oh dear. What was the attitude? A healthy lifestyle, as we understand it today, um, when I was growing up, it just wasn't a thing. I mean, it was what you did, um, with the exception of food, because I grew up in North Wales in the UK, and the idea of healthy food in those days was whatever is edible. So wasn't really
Fair enough.
particularly good. I mean, bananas? What's a banana? Um, and my parents were very much in the old school. They were both born in the 30s. So it was, if you saw, when I was growing up, Maria, if you saw somebody running, for example, you assumed they were running from the police. People didn't run. They either walked or they were in the car. So it just wasn't a factor. Yeah, you did sport at school, but to be honest, that was about it. Both my parents smoked. Um, they did, and it eventually killed my father. They did very little exercise, but in other ways, I think it was probably a lot more healthy lifestyle. What about you? What did you kind of absorb as you were growing up?
I always had some kind of a dilemma in my head because my parents never ever did any sports and they didn't eat healthy.
Mm,
They were always searching for some tasty food, especially my grandmother. Um, Most of the time I stayed with her and she brought me up.
right.
So her idea of healthy eating was a very distorted one. Um, so she was basically trying to push me to do sport, and it all ended up in a very bad way because now it's very difficult for me to do sports again. But I understand that me being a teacher of English, sitting all day long in front of my laptop,
Yeah, yeah.
I need to move, and I forget to go out. That's why I decided to get a dog. Well, actually, two.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
I have two. So now I have a good excuse to leave my
Yeah,
house and
yeah.
go for a walk 2 or 3 times a
But
day.
I live in central Scotland, and I guess the average age of the community is pretty old. There are not many young people around here, at least young unmarried people. Um, but yeah, the story I heard from one of the doctors in this area was the best um, kind of health for people in this area is a dog because it makes go out and walk and every day. And you sort of wonder, well, if people didn't have dogs, would they actually do anything? But it's amusing that you mentioned dogs because every day and at all times of day around this area, people are out with their dogs. It's a kind of strange if you come in from outside, but hey, that's what it is. And I also think what you've said is really important because so many of us spend so long in a day just sitting. And I'm not as young as I used to be, and I get a bit creaky. So my habit is kind of two things. One is I will do some a short period of qigong in the morning when I wake up. It kind of gets me awake and gets me outside, which I think is important. But also kind of stretches the back and the shoulders. And then also, I'm sure, like you, Maria, I will get up every hour and just stretch and maybe walk around or walk downstairs just to not get so tense.
It's a funny thing when you lead a not so healthy lifestyle and all of a sudden you decide to change everything. Well, not everything, but 50% of your
Mm,
habits.
mm.
Everybody looks at you in a very strange way, like, ah,
What are you doing?
so you're going to
Uh,
maintain a healthy lifestyle. Okay, let's
yeah,
see. Uh huh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What are you trying to prove? Uh-huh.
and you get that attitude. Well, my parents always judge me. They say, "Oh, you study psychology. Well, that's nonsense." And then when I tell them like, "Oh, yoga is very good for my back," they say, "Oh, yoga, that's nonsense." And my question is, has anyone told you anything about your habits that you decided to incorporate all of a sudden?
I have a kind of guerrilla approach. So if I start something, I do just a little bit, like a minute a day or something, and kind of slowly increase it. But that's a little bit tongue in cheek. I tend to be reasonably private. So, and one of the things I'd like to do is get a bicycle because I used to bicycle a lot as a child, as well as a teenager, and I really enjoyed that because you can kind of get somewhere. I loathe and detest running. It's just hate it, but cycling is fine. So I someday I'd want to do that. There's not much point now because it in a few weeks it'll start to autumn will begin. Have I ever been criticized for adopting something healthy? No, I haven't. But turning the question around, have I ever been criticized for being unhealthy? Yes, I have, both by amateurs and professionals. You need to get out and get more exercise. Yeah, all right. So no, I haven't been criticized for being healthy, but um, even my children, when I started to do qigong and tai chi and those sorts of things, they sort of, is the old man going a bit weird? Is he kind of losing his grip? um, sort of like that, but it really doesn't bother me much, actually, Maria.
Well, I do get that a lot because the attitude towards yoga is
Yeah,
kind of shaky.
Do you have any gyms, gymnasia in close proximity to your home? And have you ever been tempted to go to a gym?
When I used to work in an office, I actually bought a gym pass
Right.
and I attended the gym. So I paid for my personal trainer as well. It was a lot of money. Um, but I enjoyed the swimming pool and the sauna. But when I started working freelance, I understood that I don't really want to leave my flat, and
Mm.
then the pandemic started, and I understood that I can't
Yeah.
can't leave my
No, you
flat.
really shouldn't. Yeah, absolutely.
And my next thought was I should get some gym equipment for my flat. It was quite pricey, but I think it was worth it because it's
Okay.
very easy to work with it. Don't need to leave my house when it's hot or when it's rainy or when it's
Just
cold.
up to you. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
sure.
it's
Okay.
in front of you all the time, so it kind of provokes you and influences you. Like,
Mm, mm,
hello, I'm
mm,
here. Your gym equipment.
Hello.
Have you
Yeah.
done
Sort of
exercises today?
guilt you into doing something.
Yeah, and it's red. It's the color is red, so it's very
Ah,
flashy.
okay. Right.
There's another side of it, which is you get so used to your gym equipment and you love it so much. When you go to someone else's house, you start missing it. like,
Oh, okay.
like if you drink tea all the time and then you go to Spain and there's no tea in Spain, you have this little feeling
Cra-
inside of you like,
constant
give me my
constant
tea.
craving. Yeah.
Yeah, the craving.
But there's an interesting there's a couple of interesting dynamics there, which maybe we should talk about next time. But the one is the separation between home and kind of not home. And there's this whole debate going on about working from home and whether that's good for people. I think that's something that we could discuss. And kind of the other thing is, to your point about having gym equipment at home, I guess it's the same point in a different way. I kind of like the idea of having to go someplace to do something. I kind of like things, something in my head. I like things to be separated. So, right, at 11 o'clock, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do half an hour, and then I'm going to come back and do something else. So I like the sort of idea of things being compartmentalized, whether that's exercise or whether that's work or whether that's being at home or whatever it is. But and the other thing I think we could have a conversation about would be physical lifestyle. Healthy physical lifestyle is one thing, but I'd be interested to know a bit more about how you deal with sort of mental health. What do you do to um, keep learning, keep a active mind and active brain? Because that's the other thing. I speak to a lot of people every week, and a, a lot of people fundamentally just work. And when they're not working, they're watching TV or maybe chatting with their friends and living on one of these things. And I have a real problem with that. I use devices because obviously you have to some degree, and I feel quite old for elderly people for whom this is something between evil and magic. Um, but but I'd be interested in that conversation about keeping psychologically healthy, and then we could maybe talk about the spiritual side of things. Thank you, Maria,
Thank you.
for the opportunity to chat, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you very much for this conversation, and we will come back with another interesting topic. So stick around.
Looking forward to it. Bye bye now.
Bye.